What the heck happened here? Anywho. Hey y'all, it's me, Marty. Sorry I'm a little crooked and the lighting's horrible. Where I'm parked here, the sun's kind of starting to go down, and well, I got the visor here to block, so it's, because otherwise it's like this, and that's really bad. I think this is better, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, hey y'all, it's me, Marty. Happy Saturday. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hope you liked the video I did this morning, earlier today, the little Texas ramble. That was fun. Anywho, I am done for the day now. It is Saturday evening. I am in Santa Rosa, New Mexico, parked at the TA truck stop, and they got a Popeyes here. I didn't notice that. Ooh. Oh, no, focus. Okay, so I thought I'd do a little video here. I'm done driving for the day, kicking back for the evening in my truck. Thought I'd do a little video and show you how I make fire cans. A fire can stove, you could call it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I make them, and now I'm not the only one in the world who does this. This isn't nothing new. I'm just going to show you how I make them. I'm also going to give you 5 reasons why I like DIY fire can stoves better than any you can buy. And I'm going to give you some tips and options of making these. And then I'm going to give you, just share with you my preferences about them. Different things about them. And yeah, again, this is just my 2 cents, just my personal thoughts on this. And hope this will, just give you some ideas on making these. And yeah, it's just kind of fun. So, okay, so fire cans. Why would you want one of these? Well, let's say you're camping or you're hiking or just doing bushcraft stuff in the woods, and you want to have a fire, but maybe there's a fire ban or whatever, but you can do a self-contained little fire. Or maybe they just don't allow fires, or there's no place for a fire, or maybe you just don't want a big fire. You just want a small, self-contained fire. A fire can is a really good option. And you can use it just for a little fire to warm up to boil water on, to cook on, to make coffee or tea or hot chocolate, and anything. It's just so many neat uses for them. And they're small, and it's DIY, and it's easy, and they're just really cool. So there's a bunch of them out there that you can buy. Different kinds of, the round stoves. I'm not going to say any names or anything, but they're round, like a self-contained little fireplace thing or stove. I call these fire cans, but a lot of them are called like a self-contained fireplace or a stove. And a lot of them are round. They got some small ones, they got big ones. And then they got the square firebox type things where, they store flat, but they're in pieces and you got to put them together. There's a lot of them out there. A lot of different companies make them, whether the round ones or the square ones, and they're pretty spendy. And they're good, if you want to buy them, that's fine. But I like these better. I'll give you 5 reasons why, and then I'm going to show you how I make them. Number one, you start, when you're doing numbers, do you start with your thumb or your pointer? That seems more like number 1. That seems more normal, but I'm going to 5, so shouldn't I start with my thumb so I can keep going? Does it really matter? Start with my pinky? Oh, that's weird. Anyway, number 1, they're easy. They're easy to make. They're simple, and you'll see. I'm going to make this in like 5 minutes. It's easy. Number 2, it's a DIY. You can do it yourself. It's just kind of fun to do it yourself. Make your own things. Instead of buying them or having somebody make them for you, you can do it. It's a cool DIY. Number 3, I had 5 reasons. Number 3, it's round. Well, that's important to me. I like that better. I like round things, okay, because they have the square ones, different, shaped ones or whatever. But I like the round ones because it works well with my fire kit in my backpack. Pretty much everything I have in my cook kit is round, and so it all fits together. So it being round is really cool, and just really cool. So number 1, It's easy. Number 2, it's a DIY. Number 3, it's round. Number 4, it's solid. That's the other thing too, because a lot of them, I'm on number 4, I gotta remember. I'm bad at math, y'all. I forget where I'm at. Number 4, it's solid. I mean, because it's a can and because it's nothing you have to put together, it's solid. And it won't bend or break in your backpack or, you know, and it's solid as far as holding a pot or a pan. And I just like that. I mean, the square ones, they store flat. Oh, that's nice. But then you got to put them together, and they're kind of funky to do that. And then they're square. You know, they're kind of rickety, and I don't think they're that solid, what I've seen. This is just always made. You don't have to put it together. It's always there, and it's solid. Number 5. What was number 5? The 5th reason I really like these. It's cheap. They're free. I mean, you're not going to buy coffee or... Sorry, spit. I'm getting all excited here. You're not going to buy coffee or soup or whatever kind of can it is and dump it out. You're going to eat it or drink it. You're going to use what you buy in it and then just use the can. It's free. It's so cheap compared... I mean, I've seen the other things, the ones you can buy, they're anywhere, I don't know if they're any cheaper than $25 or $30, and they go up to all the way up to like $50 or $100. It's just crazy. This is free. You know, I don't know. They're just cool. Sorry, getting all excited here. And there's so much you can do with them. They're so cool. They're just so neat. Okay, I'm gonna make one here, and then I'm gonna tell you some options. Okay. So I got a can here and emptied this the other day. Hello. That's the other cool thing. Hello. They echo in there too. Anyway, what was in this? I think it was a big can of chili or Dinny Moore stew. I don't remember. Anyway, so to make one of these, okay, you got some food in it. Empty the food, eat the food, or drink the coffee, whatever it is. Then rinse it out really well, and obviously take the lid off. On this one, it was a pull tab I just took off. Otherwise, you'd use a can opener to take the lid off. You got to do that to get the food out anyway. And then take the label off, you know, rinse it out so it's really clean, and then you're ready to make the stove. So there's just a few tools you need. Actually, really, this is really all you need. But it helps to have maybe a hole punch here. Maybe our pliers, or well, that's a needle nose, or regular pliers, or one of these heavy-duty cutter things. You don't need them though. And actually, I got a hammer, a little cute little hammer. Isn't that cute? Cute little hammer. I like this one. This is such a great. It's like $5 at Walmart, and it's a 10-ounce hammer, but it's heavy, but it's got a small handle, so it's really good for little things. Anyway, those help. But you don't need them. Really, you can do the whole thing with just this can opener. Okay, so all I do is, so now you could just take this and build a fire in it. You know, maybe it would work. All kinds of trucks coming in here. You know, build a fire in there. And that's the other thing too. There's a lot of different fuel that you can put in these things. But let's say you're going to do a wood fire. Put wood in there and start burning. It might work, but might not work that great, because fire needs air. Fire needs oxygen to burn. And so I like to put a lot of holes. Now here's the thing, and as I'm making this, I'm going to tell you other options that people do, other ways they make these, and what I prefer and what I think works good. But again, it's just my two cents. Okay, so first thing I do, I'm just going to put some holes around the top. Just like that. Super simple. Yeah, you got that sharp thing there. We'll deal with that in a little bit. And you don't have to count. It doesn't matter. It ends up being like 8 or 10 holes or whatever. What I do is just cut the first one and then just tie it up straight across. You can measure if you want, but you don't have to. Okay, right away, quick little tip here. Be careful. Wear gloves if you have them. Just be really careful, because you're cutting metal, and you can get cut. It's some sharp edges and stuff, so just be really careful. So I just did 2 across from each other. Now I'm going to do the other way. Super simple. Okay, I got 4 there. Now I'm going to go in between those. Just go in between every 2. Can anybody guess how many I'm going to have now? I'm bad at math, y'all. I'm telling you. Okay. How many do I have now? 8. Pretty simple, huh? Okay. Now, I'm going to do the same on the bottom. And you can do them just line up with the other ones if you want to make it pretty. Or you can do it every other and make it different. I don't know. I just do it the same pretty much. And some people might say, yeah, you don't need that many holes. Well, you'd be surprised. If you want it to burn good, fire needs air. So please watch the whole video. I'm just going to give you some options of different ones and show you some other ones and some different sizes and different things you could do. Okay, how long did it take me? Just a couple minutes. I got 8 holes on the bottom, 8 holes on the top, and that's pretty much it. Okay, now we can take a little time and just make this a little better. What I'd like to do is bend these over so they're not sticking up. It's pretty easy. I mean, you can get really fancy and take your time doing it. I just do it pretty quick. It takes a minute. You're just bending them down, okay, so they're not sticking up in the way and you're not going to get cut on them. So just bend them down. You could cut them out, I guess, but I just bend them down. Most people do. Honestly, I think I've seen some people actually leave them up, and it's kind of like to hold your pot, but I don't really need that. There's a lot of different things that people do on these, a lot of different options, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And I'll tell you why I don't like certain ones and stuff like that. And again, it's just my 2 cents, y'all. Just to share. I like to just share things I learn and things I like and stuff. And that doesn't mean it's the only way. There's many ways to do things, you know. Many times there's better ways than I do. This is just what I like. See, now it's safer, okay, because that's bent over. Now the bottom one's a little trickier to get to. What do I got here? Oh, perfect. I got some maple little branches here I have in the house that we cut from around our maple trees, because I like to have them for whittling. They're perfect for that. So yeah, I know you can't see this, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this. You could use a dowel, you could use anything. I'm going to use this to hold those things down in there. I don't know if you can see this. To hold those things down, use my hammer just to punch them down so they're flat. I think this will work. Doing it on my lap here. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo, doodly-doodly-doo. Again, be safe. Wear gloves if you have them. Just be careful. You're cutting metal and bending metal and stuff. These are just really fun to make, and they work so well. I just really like them. And that's it. Boy, yeah, that was quick. See, I just bent them down on the bottom, so now it's flat. Okay, another thing you can do. Where did I put my other pliers? Oh, okay. This edge here, it's sometimes sharp, it's not always sharp. On this one, it's a little sharp. So I'm gonna bend it down, that front edge. Now, a lot of guys won't take the time to do all this. Well, I do. I want this to be a safe thing, and it works really well, but why not get rid of all the sharp edges? You know, because then you don't risk cutting yourself. Also, the wood and putting things in and out, snag on the, you know, just bend over all the edges. I mean, it doesn't take that much time, and it's a lot better. Also, what I think is really cool about these is you can have them in your backpack. You can have a little fire can, a little fire stove. I just think they're so cool. That's it. That's all the time it took. Now that's smoother. really pretty smooth. I mean, if you put your fingers in there, yeah, it can maybe still get cut, but it's way better than it was. That's really all you have to do. What I also do sometimes is I'll take a hole punch and I'll just punch some other holes in the middle all around. Boy, that's kind of a pretty can. It's like copper or brass. It's this shiny. Anyway, usually there's silver, but this one was. But yeah, I'll do a whole bunch more holes because the more air, the better for a fire to burn well. Okay, that's basically it. Now I'm going to tell you some options, okay? And I'll put that there. First of all, there's all different sizes you can make, okay? I actually have a couple of fire cans in my truck here. And you're like, why would you have them in the truck? Why do I have anything in the truck? Well, I'm a truck driver, right? I'm on the road for a week or two, and then I'm home for a week. When I'm in the truck, I gotta have something to do. When I have downtime in the evenings, I mean, when you have a regular job, I mean, like a 9-to-5 one, you're home in the evening, hang out with your family, do your hobbies, do chores, whatever. Well, I'm done driving for the day, and I just hang out in the truck. So I have things in here to do. Yeah, I have a TV, I have movies, I have books and my Bible, you know, things to read. But I also have my carving kit and some wood to carve spoons. I even have a scroll saw underneath in the side compartment of my truck, so I can do some scroll sawing if I have like a day or a weekend. I can pull it out and do some scrolling. I have my mandolin, so I can practice that and make music. I have my backpack, so I can go for a hike if I want. You know, just some of my hobby stuff in here. And I have some fire cans. I have these up above. These are some other ones I made. So this is a different size. This one's a little bit shorter. I like that size, and the one that I just made. Then there's some bigger ones too that you can make. This one, I actually took I think I did a screwdriver and punched a whole bunch of holes on the side of that one. But that's another size. So I got those two. And then, so I took some food out of my cover to show you some other sizes. So this is a really good one, kind of like that last one, a Dindy Moore beef stew can. And just show you some of the size, what they are basically. This is a 20-ounce can. And then this is a large soup can. This is an 18-ounce can. That's a good size. Then there's the size. This is a 10-ounce soup can. This is getting pretty small, but you could do it for a little small fire, and you probably could cook on it, but it's getting kind of small. But you could do that. And then there's some other shapes too. You know, we got chicken breast cans. You know, this would be good too. Now, the next few I'm going to show you are more for like an alcohol stove or something. You know, this is a 5-ounce chicken can. It's flatter and lower. It'd be hard to get a pretty big fire in there, but you could use it for solid fuel tabs or alcohol stove, you know, like that. So that would work with that. Same with a tuna can, you know, that would work too. Also, these are some neat sizes, you know, the chopped green chili can. Now that would be a really good alcohol stove or a solid fuel stove. And the beanie weenies here, the beans, the little hot dogs and beans. That's a neat little size too. That could be a fire can stove yet, or it could be an alcohol stove. My favorite all-time, all-around stove for cooking on, for boiling water, making a coffee or whatever, is a Fancy Feast stove. I don't have one. Well, actually, I think I do in my backpack. I should have pulled it out. But it's actually a little smaller than the chopped green chilies can. Just a little bit smaller than that. It's Fancy Feast cat food, y'all. It costs like 40 cents. You know, you could dump it out, give it to your cat, eat it. I did that on a video one time. I know, I'm weird. But, and then you just punch holes around the top with a hole punch and put 1 ounce, 1.5 ounce of alcohol, denatured alcohol, which is heat, in the yellow bottle that you put in your cars. And it's a stove, it's a burner, and it actually works. And you don't even need a pot stand. You don't need metal bars or braces on the top or an X thing or whatever. You can put the pot right on the Fancy Feast, and it's a stove, and it'll boil water in just a few minutes. That's really cool. I like those too. So the small ones could be good for alcohol stoves, But the bigger sizes, I would say 12 ounces and up, are really good fire cans. And I call them fire cans instead of a fire box, or, you know, I don't want to use those brand names. There's fire boxes, the square ones you break down. There's the solo stoves, that's the round ones you can buy. But, you know, nothing against them. They're great if you want to buy them. But so I don't want to use those names, so I call mine fire cans. Okay? And they're just so cool. And you can even get bigger than this too. I've gotten one, well, I have a whole bunch at home. I got a bunch in my hobby room. It is easy to make, so I've made a bunch. Not that I need a whole bunch, but they're easy to make, kind of fun. So I got some in my hobby room. I got a few out in my shop under my workbench. But I made one that's pretty big, probably about this width, but taller, about that tall. And I think it was like a sweet potato can or yams or whatever. And then I made one out of a small coffee can, like a 1 pound coffee can. That's a really nice size. And then a 3 pound coffee can, a big can. Actually, my wife got me some coffee, and it's a metal can, because a lot of coffee cans nowadays are plastic, but it was a metal one, so she got it for me so I could make a stove out of it, a fire can out of it, and it's good coffee too. So anyway, looking forward to when the coffee is gone, I can make a fire can out of that one. Then I actually, I borrowed one of my wife's big stainless steel 8-quart pots. So it's like this big. And I made a fire can out of that. Now that I had to use a drill and drill holes. It took a little while, but that one's pretty cool too. And it's stainless steel, and it's heavy and thick and has handles. And that's a really cool fire can too, because for like that one, a bunch of people can sit around it. It's a fire. It's a campfire. And what's that guy doing? Working on his truck in the middle of the parking lot. Anywho, and we actually used those, and actually made a couple more. I got my wife a new pot. It's actually nicer than the other one. Anyway, made a couple of those because they're just neat. So last year and the year before, we actually used it in our church for our fall harvest fest, and we had little campfires going in the parking lot for people to sit around, and that was really cool. So I just really like these. Now I'm going to give you some different options and stuff. I just think they're really cool to have in a backpack, and you could have these in just your car too, for a little way to have a fire. Well, and actually last winter, not this past winter, it was really easy winter in Minnesota. The winter before, the 22-23 winter, oh my goodness, it was a rough winter. We got tons and tons of snow where we couldn't even get to our campfire pit. And so we did some little campouts, my wife and I, just having a fire in a can outside. We did that a few times, and it's kind of fun. So here's some options on these. Okay, this is how I like to make them, but there's other ways you can do it too. You can use nice cars. There's like a car hauler here with some classic cars on it. That's a Ford Galaxy or something, I think, on there, or Fury or something. Anyway, you can use a bigger can, and then you can cut a hole in it and put another can coming out of it, and then another can, like a stack. You can put a smaller can inside this. It would have to be shorter, and then it's like what do they call it? It's gasified or whatever. By having that, then there's more heat around it. Now there's a whole scientific weird thing, but you could do that. You can make them taller, and really get a lot of heat going in there. There's different things you can do like that. You can put bars across the top to hold a pot. You can cut a hole in the side. You can cut it like a round hole or a square hole in the side to feed wood in. Okay. There's just some different options. Now, a few of those things I don't do, and I'll tell you why. So I don't cut a hole in the side. I did it at first, the first couple I made, and then I decided it's kind of pointless. You got a hole in the top. So the idea is that you have a wood fire going in here, okay? Or a solid fuel fire, alcohol stove, whatever. You got a fire going in there. Well, mostly if you have a wood fire. And you have your pot up here. Your pot or your frying pan, and your boiling water, or you're cooking food, and that's on here. And you can keep adding wood through that hole on the side. That's the reason. I guess it's okay. But to me, if I have a pot up here and it's cooking, just pull it off and throw some more wood in and put it back down. I don't think it's worth cutting another hole in the side. I'd rather not have that other hole in the side because that makes the whole thing a little weaker. Now you got a big chunk of metal out of there. Also, when you're burning the fire, ashes could come out of that big hole. I just don't see a purpose. You could put a door on it. I don't see a purpose of that. I think it's just too much to do. I mean, I like to just cut all these holes and it's done. There's nothing else to do to it. Then you have the pot stand or the bars that you put on top. I don't personally see a reason for that either, because I make the fire cans to fit my pots. You know, if I have a little, like my canteen cup or a pot or a little pan or something, well, I'm going to make it so that it fits on there. It just fits on there that way. And you have holes around here, which is basically the burner. Okay, that's where the fire's here and it's going around. You can cover the top. You don't have to have it elevated. So I think that's another extra thing too. You don't have to put those bars on because your pan can just sit on top. You don't need that. This is a fire can, a stove, and a pot, a pot holder or a pot elevator thing or whatever you want to call it. So, but those are just some different things that people do, but I don't see the reasons for them. But hello. But yeah, there's some other options you can do. Again, I usually would poke some holes in here. The more air, the better. It just burns better. So this is really cool. I mean, you just sit it on the ground, or what I do sometimes, I'll put it in a little pan. I have like a little pie pan, or sit it on tin foil, just so you don't get too much heat and fire on the ground. And then, get a fire starter, start it, you get a fire going in there, and then you break up twigs and little branches, you can baton some wood, split some wood, and you just feed it, and you have a good little fire going, and it gets really hot. You can warm up to it, you can boil water on it, you can cook coffee and tea, hot chocolate, soup, you can cook food. It's just really fun. It's a little mini campfire, and I just like the way it works. And again, you can do all different sizes. I made them in my different backpacks to where they'll hold the things I have in there. Like I'll have a fire can, and then, or I'll have a pot, or I've actually made a pot that you could use to cook in with a coffee can, and then the fire can is a little bit smaller. That fits in there. Then I have a fancy feast stove that fits in there. They're all round. They all fit within each other, and then, I'll put a lighter in there, ferro rod, maybe some tinder in there, maybe a little scrubby to clean things out. If you want to have solid fuel tabs in there, you can have some denatured alcohol in there. Have some of the other cooking things in there, and you can have a whole cook kit within the fire can or the pot. I just think it's kind of fun. I don't know. Yeah. What else? So I said the 5 reasons I like this better than the ones you buy. And yeah, just some different options, different sizes. And yeah, again, I don't see a reason for cutting a hole in the side to feed wood in. Just do it to the top. If you have a pot on it, move it, put more wood in, It keeps it more solid. And I don't see a reason for the things on the top, but that's just me. But they're just different options. You can try the different things, and you can try the different sizes also. And yeah, I just think they're really cool. I call it my fire can, or you can call it a stove too. It's really everything. It's a campfire and a stove in one, and they're fun to make. They work great, and they're cheap. It's a DIY, and it's just kind of a fun do-it-yourself, bushcrafty kind of thing. And you can have it in your vehicle. You can have it in your backpack. It's really great for hiking and bushcraft and camping and just enjoying the outdoors. And for emergency and survival, it's really cool too. So yeah, fire can stove. Just wanted to show you how I make them. Just some different options and things I like about it. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. It's long enough, 30 minutes, sorry. I just pray you're all doing well. like this, give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. And yeah, please comment. Just let me know what you think of the fire can, and maybe different ways you make them, and other uses for them, and just, you know, pros and cons on them. You know, just be neat to hear. I love to see your comments, and I try to answer them all, and it's just fun to communicate and connect and talk back and forth. So yeah, anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.